All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode. This one was super fun. Guest was Mason. He's leading right now Cashflow Syndicate with David, episode 2020. Yeah, episode 20.
22, bro.
Yeah, no, this is 22. The episode with David was episode 20. Um,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. Yeah, but both great guys. Just real quick, want to say anyone calling these two dudes frauds are liars. They don't know what they're talking about. It's big right now in the YouTube SMMA kind of um, realm is people pointing everyone else out, calling them a liar. These two dudes, me and Kevin, been following them for about a month now, and it's working. So we're gonna keep going, and we wanted to have them on just to kind of say thanks and just get a little bit more into their mindset. So, Kev, you got anything?
Yeah, so if y'all aren't familiar with Cashflow Syndicate, it's basically a group where you have two people that created it and then run it. That's David that we had on already, and Mason. So Mason was kind of the brains behind the whole copywriting program. So Trevor and I are both trying to get into copywriting right now, looking for new clients, and I thought it would be really dope to have Mason on, seeing as he was kind of the one who taught Trevor and I pretty much everything that we know. I had been following him for about 8 months now, and then I introduced him to Trevor recently. We just been diving into it, so it's a really dope episode, and I think everyone is going to like it, regardless of whether or not you're into copywriting or not. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get it. All right, and we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Episode, is it 22, Kev?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got another special one. We had David on, and now we have his partner here, Mason. How you doing?
How's it going, boys? I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22.
Hey,
T
Oh,
Swift.
hey,
Little T Swift, bro.
hey. All
You guys
right,
like Taylor Swift?
dude. T Swift was legendary from like sixth grade until I graduated.
Yeah, now she's old. She's
Yeah,
expired.
yeah, no,
yeah,
She went
she's over
70.
25 now.
Dude,
yeah,
I mean, over 22, I think it's like done.
yeah.
Do you guys remember Stefan Molyneux on Twitter?
Ooh,
This
He
is,
yeah, I
got
heard.
banned, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons was because he would quote tweet all of Taylor Swift's tweets and be like, "This is what happens when your ovaries dry up and you're out of eggs. Like, get to work." Like he would just be because like she'd be like at the time she was like 28 or 29 and he was like, look at this woman still single and unmarried and childless. Like if you want to have a fulfilling life, you better put those eggs to work or something like that.
He just
And everyone
quote
was just
tweets
like,
it.
Man,
bro, it would attract all the Taylor Swift audience and then they'd just be like, who is this guy and what is his problem? But he was just like this like right-wing propagandist. It was so weird, bro. Anyway,
Just,
he's
just
already
post
at
a quote
32.
tweet with an empty egg carton on it, dude. That's my favorite.
Oh man, I'm gonna start doing that. That's actually really creative.
Yeah, bro, that's a funny one, dude. Put that in the toolbox, bro.
Uh,
Oh
Shit.
man. Yeah.
how you doing, Kev? How you
I
feeling?
am phenomenal. Actually, I'm really tired, but I'm excited for this guest. This is a fucking dude I've been following for a while, and I'm excited to kind of tap into shit after we get past the Taylor Swift shit. So,
Hey, T
of
Swift.
course. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll let you start it. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, no. So, one thing that I think is really fascinating about kind of people that make money in like weird way. I'm gonna call it weird way, but like unorthodox ways, right? Is like they have like a unique mindset. Like I don't think I could drop you into like some 9 to 5 and expect you to be anything but miserable. So my question is, when did you like first notice that the regular kind of job flow is not really for you?
Um, I don't know. I've always been a pretty shit employee. Like, and that's not necessarily because I wanted to like be an entrepreneur. Like that's the weird thing about me specifically, and I think that's also why I resonate with normal people, like normies, like brokies, is because like I never sought out the entrepreneurship side of things. Like that kind of presented itself to me. And so I just wanted to like have like regular money. Like just wanted to make whatever, like between 60 and 130 if like, if that was even possible. I originally wanted to be a lawyer. And so like I had no problem like being an employee. I actually didn't feel that like sense of entrepreneur like itch until I actually was already a freelancer for like a year and a half. And at that point, that was when I was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm in control. Um, like even though I was making a ton of money and I was technically outside of the 9 to 5 thing, I was not calling the shots like my clients were. Because the way that I set up my deals was like I was not like a copywriting agency. I just was like basically an employee for like 15 different companies. And like that was tiring, which is why I ended up shutting it down and like turning it into an actual agency. But in terms of like actually wanting to be an entrepreneur, like that was super late. Like a lot of people, like I talked to them, they want to be an entrepreneur from like age 3. That was not me. I didn't even know I wanted to make money until I was like 20.
How did you get started copywriting then? Because I don't think many people have even heard that word, let alone know what it means.
Yeah, I had no
Yeah.
idea what the hell it was.
Yeah, dude, I was just saying, like I found it on Twitter. So I was like chilling after class, like sitting in my car. Like I had like a night class. So it was like 10:30 and I was just scrolling Twitter on my phone, like parked in my car. It was like a winter. It was like November, December 2018. And for some reason I found Nate Schmidt on my Twitter. He would just like pop up. I don't know how, because I was not involved in that world at all. I think maybe I followed one of his like locals and they would like retweet him or something. But he was talking about like copywriting, which like I didn't know what that word meant. And so I commented on it, and then some like Nigerian dude DM me, um, and he was like, yeah, dude, you be like copywriting such a great way to make money. I'm like, is that like the legal thing? And they're like, no, dude, like Google it.
It
I was
sounds
like,
illegal.
well, yeah, I thought it was like trademarking shit and like just basically putting your like I don't know. I asked him, I was like, do I need a law degree for this? He's like, no, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And then so yeah, I just went down the rabbit hole after that, and I just like because I've always been a writer. Like that's always been something that I really loved. Um, and I was there was two options for me to actually monetize writing. It was either like be a journalist, or like do this pretty much. That was like all I had in my head. And so that was like super freeing for me. I was like, oh, 'cause, like the one thing I remember too is like when you're between like under the age of like 25, like we only really know about like or maybe under like 22, like when you're still in school, you only can name like 10 careers. Like doctor, engineer, lawyer.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know what all of this stuff is. Like you don't know the roles of a company. Like you don't know what like VP of ops does. You know what I mean? So like how could you possibly aspire to that from, age 10 if like all you know is like teacher, police, firefighter. You know what I mean? Like there's so few things that you think you can do. And so that was like the first belief was like, oh, like the 10 things that I can name as careers, like there's more than that. So, yeah.
Yeah, my problem was like yeah, those 10 things. It's like the 10 Halloween costumes. Like
Exactly.
like the 10
Exactly.
Halloween costumes you can be, and I hated all of them. So, dude, there was one Halloween I was like a Pokemon with that classic banana outfit. Like I found this Pokemon shit for $2 at Salvation Army and threw it on. I could not stand like the classic 10 things. So when I finally got into college and realized that sucks too, I got out of college. I'm like, okay, well, I have no choice but to like the army because I'm not going to be a doctor, not going to be a lawyer, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to
Mhm.
figure
Yeah.
something out. And this is something that, until, I mean, until social media, this kind of stuff is like unheard of. Like copywriting, email marketing, email design,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all that
I
shit.
mean, yeah. Copywriting has been around for a while. I think I knew I wanted to work in marketing or advertising. Like that was one thing that I was kind of drawn to, but I also didn't really know what that meant. And like in college, like business is mostly math. And so I thought like, oh, if I want to do like a business major, I have to do math. I didn't want to do that. Like I wanted to solve problems, not math problems. And so yeah, like dude, like it's a really weird thing. I don't know if it's like, dude, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like I don't think it's done intentionally, but it would make a lot of sense if it was. Where if it was like they purposefully give you an idea of like 10, 20 things that you can do in your life, and that's just what you do.
That's one thing college really taught me is like, okay, and there's maybe not 10 careers, there's maybe 30, but they're all
Mhm.
fucking bullshit. Like okay,
Yeah.
I'm still going to school for just because I'm getting paid with the army for it. but my degree is going to be in healthcare administration. All you can really do with that is run a hospital. I'm like, that sounds absolutely miserable. Like you're getting fucking shit from every direction, and I'm just going to be miserable. I'm like, what the hell can I do that is going to make me money and then not hate life? And I just think college, like for most college careers, it's just a recipe for you hating life.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it really depends on like who you are. Like, dude, like I've had some minimum wage jobs that I love. Like, dude, for some reason, the McDonald's that I worked at when I was a
Oh,
McDonald's,
dude, me too.
dude, I had the littest time at McDonald's ever.
I
Like
still
every
talk to
job,
that group chat.
bro, for real, we had a Facebook group, and I'm still in there.
Yes.
Fucking nerds. But dude, like, and for some reason, I was like, so I started in like 2016, and like for the first like 2 months, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. Like, I don't really like anyone here. It was a lot of old people, and then like all like the people that were kind of old to me, like they went off to college or they like graduated college and they got a real job or something, and then they just all filtered out by like September, October, and then like a new wave, they did like a hiring wave of like all these girls that were my age. At one point, there was like literally 12 girls on payroll who were like some of the hottest girls you've ever seen in your life, like literally ridiculous. And so like I just remember like being working at McDonald's and I was like, if this was my life for the next like 20 years, like I would be happy with that. Like just have 12 McDonald's wives and we just hang out like this like every day. Like because I'd only do like 3 hour shifts. And so like you literally just like spend 3 hours like
About to start.
making fries, cooking up some fries, making coffee, and then talking to these baddies who are just like at the
About to
drive.
start trapping out the McDonald's, man.
Legit, bro. Dude, I was a whore. Like I ran through my McDonald's coworkers.
How old were you then?
I would have been like 17, 18.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Man,
Prime time. Like,
running
dude.
that shit from the bottom up.
No, dude, I used to work at this amusement park before I joined the army, and like the lady who owned it was like 80, bro, super old fashioned. So she would make it so if you were a ride operator, you could only be a man. And then all the chicks were working the snacks, which is like at the other end of the park, dude.
Oh,
Dude, hurting,
Oh.
bro. I hope she's not listening. I know she's not gonna watch it. I took so many bribes, bro. It was incredible. You came up to me with $20, absolutely skip the line, bro. They were paying me $6.65 an hour back
yeah.
in 20
20
fucking 13.
$20, yeah, that's a 5-hour shift, bro. Damn.
Dude, swear to God, bro. I'm like, this is a no-brainer, bro. You don't want to pay me nothing. Of course I'm gonna take bribes, bro. This is an amusement park. Like, why not?
So
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, actually, I was talking about that the other day with a couple of buddies. We were at this cigar lounge. And we were just kind of reflecting. Like, I think it's so corny when we do this, when we just sit back and think, like, wow, like, look where we are. But like, it was just one of those nights where we were just like half in the bag, and we were just like just smoking a cigar and just thinking, like, bro, like, there are people, like you just said, like minimum wage back in the day, probably like six. Even now, bro, it's 7.25. So like 8 hours. What is that? Like $50,
ugh,
$60 in a day?
ugh.
You kidding
And then
me?
they
Like,
tax you, yeah.
It's so bad.
like, yeah, and then you pay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the tax like threshold is. I don't know if you're paying taxes if you're making like $7 an hour, but
Oh
like, dude,
yeah. Oh
like
my God.
imagine working 8 hours for like $60, $50. Like
I would
No,
die.
yeah,
literal
no, and then think
slavery.
even bigger. You work, what is it, 40 hours a week for 2 weeks straight, bro. You only get 2 days off, damn near, for what? It's like $800. Like,
Oh,
you're like
dude,
slave driving
literally
for
was my
eight hundred
heart.
bucks.
Fuck. Like, yeah, dude. You better have some baddies working. Like, if you're doing jobs or something like that, like that's like benefits.
It's the
That would be
least
like
they could do.
healthcare. You'd be working with like 13 like dimes from whatever high school up the block. Obviously not now.
Yeah,
Yes,
yo,
but back in the day.
I got a good question. uh, do you ever get burnt out, or have you ever gotten burnt out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
How are you trying to avoid it, and kind of like talk about you burning out?
I don't, bro, because I don't notice it until it's already in there. And then like I can't lose like I can't give up money. And so like if there's something that's like taking up my time and it's like causing burnout, but I'm making money from it, like I can't just like let go of it. Or I can't like scale it back. Like that like fucks with me. And so I just push through it. I kind of just do bare minimum for like a month. But like the first time I was like burnt out, like for real burnt out, was like end of November when I like ended up dropping like pretty much all of my clients, and like left like the country. Like that was so I was people know this, like I was doing freelance copywriting from like June 2020 to like end of 2021. And I was over like I was stretched a little bit too thin because I wasn't doing it the right way. Now I know like what I would have done if I like didn't want to fuck it up. Like I would have hired people, like I would have hired another writer or two, and I would have hired like an assistant to basically handle shit for me. Um, but yeah, like scaled that to like almost 50 grand a month. And then, but I was working so much and I was doing so much finance, like we talked about, where it's like I had no choice but to shut it down. So I left Structured, which sucked, like Chase's agency. So I left them and I left pretty much everything except for like I think 3 clients, and those are my biggest clients. But I was still working like I think an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, and so I was still making like 15 grand a month, like in December, or I made 15 grand in December, like with 3 clients doing like 2 hours of work a day. Like it was actually sick. And I think about that sometimes and I'm like, damn, like if I like didn't want to be like stupid rich, like I could have just done that forever. 15, like come on, like that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, so like I took the month off of December and I kind of just like chilled. Um, and like to be honest, like right now, I feel a little bit burnt out just because I've been like go, go, go for like 2 months straight. Like, okay, let's see. I was in I was in Florida, not Miami, but I was in Jupiter in August, and then I had a bunch of shit to handle in Canada, and so like September, first half of September was taken up, and then I went back to Miami like later on in the month, and then I had like some music shit that I had to do in Canada, and so I was doing like rehearsals like 3 4 times a week. I didn't really get a break, and then I had the gigs. And then I was like seeing people like I for some reason I just thought it was a good time to like go on a bunch of dates, so I went on a bunch of dates that month. And then October was like plan like and then Copy MBA obviously dropped, and so like I had to be there for that. And then um like just a bunch of stuff earlier this month. And then like now I'm here and I'm going to Europe in like a week, and then I'm going back to New York and then to Canada, and then I'm driving down here and I'm like moving my entire life like up the street like, in Miami. So like
Whoa.
I've literally I haven't had like a dead week since like August, like beginning of August. So I'm just like I'm super super fucking tired right now. But I mean like that's part of it and it's really fucking exciting. It makes time fly by. Like
Yeah.
October was like the quickest month ever. It was insane. And like that's part of it too where it's like we talk about how like you don't want to be shackled down, like you want to have like location freedom and stuff like that. You don't want to be in an office, you don't want to have a boss. But like when the world is your office and you are your own boss, like shit just comes up and you just have to deal with it. Like that's just part of it. You know what I mean? So like you kind of have to accept that because if you're gonna work in an office and be like that, if that's what you choose, then like you gotta stick with that. So I'm very grateful, but it is fucking exhausting sometimes. I won't lie.
Was there ever a point where you thought maybe this isn't what I'm meant to do?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, like earlier this year, like the agency sucked. Like we got okay, so we started in January, and I didn't tell anyone this. I think I might have posted about it in the Cashflow Syndicate. Like I took a lot of L's like early this year. Like, dude, January, February, March for the agency fucking sucked. Like it sucked building it because I was making not that much money. Um, but I like was starting to incur some overhead because I had to build a tech stack for the team. At the team, the only 2 people was like Pierce and Hunter. Um, but like just so much more logistics stuff like and I had no idea what I was doing. um so I mean yeah I was like dude, like if I don't make this work, like what else would I do? Like
Yeah.
would I just find some startup and just go work there? And so like I knew like as soon as I thought that I was like ugh, like no, that would be the worst. Like
ugh.
not even just because like not even just because like I would not have all the stuff that I have now. Like I would make less money and I would have less freedom and all that. It would just be because like I'd feel like, oh fuck, I gave up. Like I had it for 2 years and then I gave it back. to go like do the easy thing. And so like that is something that I could never like live with myself if I did that. Like if I ever had a job again, which like that's not even really the right way to put it. Like if I ever had like an entry level job, like dude, I would be so happy if someone said, "Yo, leave your agency. We want to bring you on as like a partner or like some C-suite or like director level person for this company that's growing really fast. We need you. You're not even gonna have to interview for it. We'll pay you like $500,000 a year. You can do whatever the fuck else you want on the side. You don't have to come into the office ever. All you have to do is join these 3 meetings, lend us your brain, and be here when you want to be here, and that's it." Kind of like the way you guys listen to My First Million.
No.
No.
Okay, Sean Purry sold his company to Twitch, which then got acquired. Was it Twitch? I think it was Twitch. Yeah, yeah, which then got acquired by Amazon. And so he was working at Twitch and then at Amazon, and he was just one of those dudes. Like he got acqui-hired, so like he had to vest out of the company and work for them until his like he was paid out. And like that was basically the situation. Like they paid him like probably millions a year, and he would just kind of chill there and like work a little bit, like maybe like 5 hours a week. And no one asked any questions because it was like, oh yeah, that's Sean. That's just like what he like. That's what he does. That's how he works. And you can provide value in excess of the time that you're sitting at your desk being there. That's kind of the point. You have to be more valuable in 5 hours than like everybody else is in 40. Anyway, yeah, we
Yeah,
got off topic.
me,
I would
yeah,
have a job one day. That's kind of the point. I would have a job one day, but it would have to be like a really sweet gig.
yeah. Me and Kevin were talking about that the other day. It's like would rather work like 2 hard hours just at work, put your phone down, then like pick your head up and it's 2 hours later, then work 8 hours and just fucking hang out, do nothing, half work, half not. It's like
Mhm.
just much rather just get it done in 2 hours.
That's literally, dude, how the army is. You be there for 12 hours doing an hour's worth of work all day. And it's like, bro, I'm going to be here till fucking 6 o'clock at night anyway. Like, what's it matter how much work I do, you know?
Right.
But I definitely think I can get more done in like 3 hours than I could in like 12 if I was like
Oh yeah, bro. Oh
just
yeah.
doing fucking work. You could have just gone back to copywriting though, right? Like, why couldn't you have just done that?
I could have, but I don't know. I wanted to keep progressing. I didn't want to keep going back. And like that's something that like all of my friends kind of have. Like everyone that I work with, like they start a new business and they have something like in their back pocket that they could do and do all right with it. Like I have buddies that are building like tech things right now and like they're really good at Facebook ads and sometimes they're like, fuck, like why don't I just go back to running Facebook ads and making like 20 G's a month? It's like because there's something on the other side. Like you have to be progressing. Like even if you're making money, it doesn't matter if you're like if you're not moving forward, like it's just as bad because you just feel stagnant
Dude,
and
have you
like the
ever
money doesn't
have,
matter.
have you ever seen the series Suits?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched up to like season 4 or 5 or something
Oh,
like that. I
okay.
stopped.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But that's like where he's at. It's like he's stuck because he can't move up because everyone will find out, or he could leave
Oh
and
my,
figure something else. Yeah, or figure something
yeah,
else out. It's the same
dude.
exact
Like
thing.
that's what people love. Like money is not the motivator. Like
Yeah.
it's it's more likely that you'll get good talent by like saying that there is like somewhere for you to go. Like if someone wants to become director level or C-suite level, like they have to know that that's possible before they accept any salary. Like it doesn't matter if you're paying them 200 grand a year. Like high performers need that. And so like yeah, because you'll literally go nuts if you're just like doing the exact same thing. Like it's the same anatomically as sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day for 40 years, making like 100 grand a year as it is making a million a year. Like it doesn't matter what number you're at. You're still gonna want to die,
It
bro.
still fucking sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you got that lifestyle inflation too. Like,
that too.
Yo,
is
what were
that a
you?
real big?
Oh,
Was
go
that
ahead.
a real big problem for you?
Yes, it currently is.
What What do you mean?
Where's my Rolex? Hold
Yeah, get
on.
the rollie
Yeah,
out.
It is a
he's
big
act,
problem.
Hold
he's
up, I'll be
actually
right back.
grabbing it.
It's a huge problem because like because you get friend inflation too. Look at this thing.
Let me see
It's
that.
not cheap. Like I
Mm.
had the I had the biggest Amex bill I've ever had for the month of October, and like I thought I was gonna fucking puke.
Oh, really?
It was bad. Like it was like 75 grand.
Set the fuck up for a month.
Yeah.
Jeez, us.
30 days.
What did you buy? Like that? It's hard
Nothing.
for me to fathom that.
Yeah. No, I bought that. We got a bunch of tables. Some of that is like business stuff, so like it's not all personal expenses. But yeah, no, it was just a crazy month. Like there was just a lot of shit going on. I put a lot of flights on there. Good news is I have a bunch of points, so like I can't wait to spend those. I don't even know how to spend points, to be honest. Like people always say like just use points. I'm like I don't know how. Anyway, but yeah, no, lifestyle inflation is a real thing. Like I went from like making like 6 grand a month, like living in my parents' house, and then I moved out. My rent was like 1450 or something like that for like kind of like a shitty apartment. But like I was like, that's all right. And I still had my Accord, which is like a fairly cheap car. Um, and like yeah, everything seemed all right. And I was still kind of looking out. Like I was still like not trying to spend more than I needed to. Like I would actually like budget my shit. Like even though I was doing like the equivalent of like 6 figures, like I think like 9 or 10, like by the time I moved out. I was still like going to the grocery store and trying to be like, okay, I'm not going to order Uber Eats this week. Like, I'm just going to try and be safe here. And I was like actively like trying to like make sure I don't overspend. And then in the summer, I started doing really well and I started like buying drinks for my friends and we would go out and be like, kind of like whatever. But it still wasn't that bad. Like, I was still saving a bunch of money. And then in December, I caught the travel bug and I was just like, all right, like now all bets are off. Like travel is by far like my biggest expense because I'm never home
Mm.
ever. Like I haven't been home for more than 5 weeks at a time since um okay, so since June. But before that, um like that would have been like December of or November of 2021.
Sounds
Like
like the
legit.
army, bro.
Yeah, like 5 weeks. I haven't spent more than 5 weeks at home. Like it's crazy. I can't even explain it, bro. Like the way it works is like stuff just comes up, right? Like for example, like the Cold Emo Wizard concert, the Client Ascension event. Like you just get invited to that, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna do this after," and then because like I'm just in a pack of dudes who travel with me, or like we all travel together
Yeah.
and like you just run it up and like guys like Luke are in the group chat because Luke didn't really travel at all before we went to Greece in July and now he wants to go everywhere like he's like yo let's go to Europe this day and let's go to Montana. He wants to go to Montana and like fish and like kill deer and
Montana
shit like
is
that.
awesome, dude. I want to go
Yeah,
there so bad.
yeah, dude, there's this like wicked fucking ranch out in Big Sky that we saw on
Oh,
Airbnb and we
that's
really
dope.
want to go,
Yeah.
but it's just like yeah, dude, it creeps up on you. And when when you're traveling, you feel like you're supposed to be chilling. And so in that mindset of chilling, like you don't want to you want to check bills. You don't want to do like the thing that's less convenient, but it'll cost you less money. And you want to like treat yourself. And so like yeah, like it's actually bad. And especially like in a city like Miami, you can't like we every time we go out for breakfast, there's like 3 or 4 of us and it costs like $110. Like,
Holy
that's an
shit.
expensive breakfast. Like in Canada, I can go get breakfast by myself and it's eight
Yeah, I was
bucks.
gonna say you're from Canada.
Yeah.
Yo, talk about that a little bit.
How did you escape there with the coronavirus, dude?
Um, People overplayed the whole like Canadian Corona thing. Like they definitely
What?
like were strict on lockdown, but it was not like Australia. Like I still have friends like in Australia, New Zealand that can't leave because they're not vaccinated. They don't check here.
That's a concentration camp in Australia. They had those, I fucking remember.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was, but I remember hearing something like that where it was like legit concentration camps,
Yeah,
bro.
it's like
It it
helicopters making sure you don't leave your home. That's insane.
it was some shit where if you had an exposure, the government could fucking pick you up and take you to this camp and you couldn't leave until they said so.
The
Like
night,
like it's fucking China or something,
That's
bro.
insane.
yeah, legit, bro. Canada was not like that. Canada, it depends on where you were. So, like for example, in Quebec, like in Montreal, they had a curfew, and you could get arrested or something if you were out past like 8 o'clock. And a lot of the rules were dumb, where it's like bars would close at 9 because COVID comes out at night. Remember that? Remember how
Yeah.
dumb it was?
Yeah.
I,
Well,
but other than that, though, sorry, what's up?
it's like COVID checking its
Yep.
watch, like, oh yep, 9 o'clock. Guess I'll fucking
It's
come visit.
9:01. I'm late.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
I go to the bar.
Forgot to
Yeah.
shower right quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So ridiculous, bro. Like it was just the dumbest shit ever. Like we look back and we're like, God damn, how did we do that? Like it's so stupid. But like so that was a thing. Like that was definitely like more strict up here. You have to wear masks and stuff like that. But like, bro, like the whole like vaccine thing, which like I don't want to get us banned, so like we can use a code word if you want. But
No, we can say it's fine.
like it because that was not governed by like the police, it was governed by like regular people. So like some restaurant worker, they're like, "Do you have a vaccine card?" No. Okay.
Get out.
Like we want your money. Like, you know what I mean? So like just come in and eat and like I'll just shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't even like that, bro. Like even on planes, like they don't check. Like I remember like I don't know, we'll be like I had friends like Photoshop me shit and like I got on everywhere, it was fine.
I remember fucking getting the exact instructions on how to make a card on 4chan, bro. I saved it to my phone, like had the card stock and everything, bro.
Yeah, bro. It was all kind of BS. So
Insane.
the only reason I did leave like in January because lockdowns were getting bad, and we basically went from like how we are now back to stage one, which is like stay in your house, nothing's open, like go fuck yourself. Because like after Christmas, I got it too. Like Christmas, New Year's, I got COVID. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't like deadly for me at least, luckily. Um, but yeah, no, like because we had so many cases, they were like, stay in your house, and I was like, no, I'm going to Mexico.
Nah, fuck that.
And then I just kind of coasted around, and then by the time I came back, like everything was back to normal again. It was like a time machine. It was sick.
Was there big social pressure in Canada? Because I remember, so like I live in Tennessee, right? Very red area. I go back to Colorado, I think 2020, and I wasn't wearing a mask in the Denver airport. And they got these like subway cars to take you from the terminal to the actual airport. And I knew that you only had to wear one on the plane. So I'm not wearing one in this little subway car. And this lady is looking at me, dude, like I'm literally Hitler. Like she could not believe that I would endanger her like that. I'm like, this is so remarkable.
Put her life at danger like that.
Dude, all I could think of was like, just take a picture of you and show you this in 2019. You wouldn't even believe it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I didn't really feel it. It's probably because I wasn't really going anywhere where old people were, and like I also didn't really have a huge problem wearing a mask, especially at that time. Like, so like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's kind of just like whatever, I'll just wear it. Like, but then I went away and I went Mexico, Miami, Dallas, Charleston, and there were no masks anywhere. Like not in Mexico, not in Miami, obviously, not in Dallas, Texas, obviously, and not in Charleston, South Carolina. So I just got used to not having to wear it. And then when I came back, then I was like a problem child where like I'd
Yeah.
be in a restaurant and like I'd walk in. I remember like so I got picked up from the airport on the day that I came back from that four city little world tour that I did from my brother. And because he picked me up, I took him out for dinner and we went to the spot that I love, like in like near my house. And we went in and like it was pretty empty because it was like late at night and we were just gonna like go sit down and they were like, can you like wear a mask? And I was like, why? So we can walk from here to right there, like 5 feet away where you're gonna put us at the table and I can just take it off again. And she was like, listen, like I don't make the rules, you have to put on your mask, okay? And I was like, are you shitting me? Like let me just go sit down. And so I just like slid and I just sat down and I was like, are we happy now? Like I can take it. So like then I was like annoying to like and like I wasn't trying to like give anyone shit, but it was just like when you're away from it for so long, like it just like I don't know, I felt like I was like a hardened criminal, you know? It was weird.
Well, it's like it gets to a point where yeah, it's the rules, but how far are we gonna let the rules just let us like how far are we gonna let the rules control us? Like yeah, it's your job to tell me to put this on, but now it's also your job to enforce it. You're just gonna enforce these rules blindly.
Yeah.
like, like that's
Dude, like
that's far.
again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like I don't know. It just it's insane to see what people will go along with, you know?
Yeah,
well,
And
and
like
two, yeah, people felt so like emboldened to correct other people. It's like they felt like they were on their high horse, I guess,
yeah.
for yelling at you. It's like that was their sole purpose was to fucking yell at people for not wearing a mask. It's like, well, it's not even about the mask. It's just making someone do what you tell them.
You know what it is, bro?
Yeah.
This is a thing that I have. I think that there's so many people in this world that like just get beaten down because they're just wrong all the time. Like whether it's like with their spouse, where their spouse is just constantly telling them you're wrong, or their kids, or like they go to work and someone's like, this is wrong, this is wrong. When a cause comes up, like for example, like racism stuff or the mask stuff or like anything related to culture where like there's a clear like depiction of what they believe is to be right and wrong. Like for example, like right now, if I was one of those people that's just always wrong and I wanted to feel what it feels like to be right, I would just go under every person who's like supporting, and not that I believe in this, but just like supporting Kanye and like whatever the fuck he's saying, because I don't even really know what he's saying. So maybe I'm way off. You guys can correct me, but like there's someone who's just like waiting to see someone fuck up in terms of like what the public opinion is and correct them. And so like when you have someone who's not wearing a mask, right? And they're doing what they're supposed to do and they get a chance to tell you you're wrong, I'm right, they're gonna take that every time because it fucking feels good. You know what I mean? And there's not many people that get to say you're wrong, I'm right, and it's not one of these fucking stupid like public opinion things where it's like you can just protect yourself and you'll always be right. It's like the safest way to be right without having to have an opinion of your own. I don't know.
Yeah,
That makes sense?
the problem is all the stupid people. I agree. I agree. It's like going to like it's like college. All the people in college who like are failing, getting D's, and then are just listening to the teacher and like, well, the teacher said, like, yeah, that's what the teacher said, but you're stupid still. Like, why are we still just listening blindly? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know, man. It's a topic that gets me a little riled up because it has not made sense. Because I was still in the army when it first popped off. It was like March or whatever, and in February I went home to see my family because I was deploying in March, and I was about to
Mhm.
miss my deployment because I couldn't fly back home from Florida to Tennessee because of COVID. It's like, and this was right when it started. I'm like, we didn't even know anything, and I'm thinking this shit's fucking insane. Like, didn't
No,
Yeah.
we
you
just do this shit with the swine flu like 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Ebola.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
yeah.
You know what was nice about it though is like you could tell who also fucking thought like you, kind of. Like I'd be at the grocery store, it'd be like fucking like five of us not wearing masks. Everyone else was wearing. I
You're
had
like,
people stop and they're,
hey,
yeah, they're like, "Why are you not wearing a mask? Did you like forget in your car?" I was like, "No, I just didn't fucking want to." Like, I don't fucking need a reason. I just don't feel like it. Like, this is
Yeah, dude.
America, dude. What the fuck?
It was like a bonding thing. It was actually kind of cool. Now that you say that, it's just like, dude, it's just bringing back all these like buried memories of COVID because there's so few things that I actually remember about it. But like, yeah, like there was like this kind of like, hey, what's up, bro? It's like,
yeah.
you know, The Office, like when Stanley finally has like a black friend,
Oh,
and, like
he
the
does.
other black guy comes and he's like, and he goes like, what's up to Stanley? Actually, now that I remember it, Stanley like didn't fuck with that guy, so he
Yeah,
was like, yo,
no.
You're
but
talking the
the
con
thing
dick,
that
yeah.
the-
Yeah.
where it's just like 50 white people and like two black dudes are like, yo, like this fucking white people, am I right? You know? Yeah. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys have a hard stop, but like I got so much time, so I'm literally gonna kick back, just put my
Oh,
feet up.
that's what it
yeah,
is,
no, do
man.
it, bro.
I don't know. Do you guys have a time limit?
Dude, it's
Not
Halloween. The
really.
kids are about to come knocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we usually shoot for like an hour, but yeah, we'll just
Yeah,
fucking
we'll
probably
just
shoot it to them.
I
No,
got
I do got a note though, like on the fucking how do people like go along with everything? Like you got to think about too, like IQs are on a bell curve, you know. So from the jump, if the middle is 88, half of the people on in the US, let's say, are below that. So like that's 100 and fucking
half.
60 million people. I mean, if it's a bell curve, I don't know what the middle part is. That would be
I
the
think
middle
it's
part.
100. I think middle is 100.
That's
But dude, you're
Okay.
right.
bullshit, bro.
There were a lot of smart people, or the people that I thought were smart, that were just like checking all the COVID boxes. They were
Yeah,
like, "Yep, mask." You
98.
know what I mean? So it's like,
I
yeah,
think a lot of it too is like there's a point where you're smart, but then like you think that you know everything and you're not smart enough to understand how much you don't know.
Mhm.
So like that those are the people I think are most dangerous. The people who are like partially educated on a lot of issues, but they're not educated enough to see like all the nuances of what they don't know, you know?
Oh, actually, this is perfect for your new, or I guess it's more of David's module stuff, but he has to start like breaking down Cashflow Syndicate like little by little, pretty much for the people that kind of can't think outside of the box. Like, how frustrating is that for you two to run into?
Bro, like since our rebrand, we've kind of figured that that's just part of the territory. Like, dude, it's worse on TikTok. Like, Cashflow Syndicate is actually like the smartest people on TikTok that come in, because like all the TikTok people are like, they'll be in my comments like, "Hey, can you DM me? I want to get on a call with you," or something like that. They'll just like comment that. I'll be like, "Bro, like, what are you talking about? Can I DM you and chase you down to get on a call with you? Why would I
Dude,
do that?" Or like dudes that are like, they'll comment like, "Okay, so what is copywriting?" And it's like, why are you asking me? Google's free, bro. Like that that bugs me. So like the stuff that I see in Cash Syndicate is actually not that bad. Like it's people asking like legit questions, like how, like what happens if I, the problem is people not asking dumb questions. They're asking questions that are actually too advanced for where they should be. Right? So people say like people with no website, no offer, no clients, no money will be like, so like what platform should I get paid on? Like, yo, that doesn't matter until you have at least one warm response, like someone who actually wants to fucking work with you. Because first of all, it takes 30 seconds to decide which payment process you want to use. It takes another 30 seconds to sign on and create an account. You don't need that right now. Just focus on getting money in. That's the stuff that kind of bugs me, but I have to remember like I used to be that too. Like I used to do the same shit where it's like, okay, like I start thinking because I need everything planned out in advance. Where I'll
Ye-
think like, yeah, I'll think like I can't start this until it's perfect in my head. And that's what causes procrastination. And so all of these people, like you just got to shake them and be like, bro, don't think about that yet. I know why you're thinking that, but you have to just stick with the playbook and just go through the modules and just do literally exactly what we say. Just do that.
yeah, I remember asking on the syndicate. It was like if I'm doing like a cold outreach, right? Should I send it like should I wait till Monday? I think it was like a Saturday. I was like, should I wait till Monday to send this shit? And I asked it and I got a good answer, right? But I'm thinking like, man, this is a ludicrous thing to worry about. Like I got to worry about actually getting good at this shit first. Like when
Mhm.
we first started, we were like trying to set up a website, get this payment processor, all this shit. I was like, this doesn't matter if we suck at what we do.
But dude, like I think the one thing, the one reason I kind of love cash sending and I think it's really suited to my personality is because like I said, I was that dude and I remember asking those questions and I know why you're asking it. So like the reason you're asking should I send this on Saturday is because this is a lead that you think you might have a shot at working with and you don't want to send them an email at the wrong time and waste the opportunity because you're thinking that's more of like a scarcity mindset thing where it's like, okay, if I send it on Saturday, that's one less lead that might respond to me if I fuck up the day. But then like you graduate from being at that place and operating out of a place of abundance where it's like, yo, I have 10,000 emails that I need to send emails to this quarter. And if one of them like doesn't see or I send the wrong message to them or like, get it at the wrong time, one of two things. It's either like fuck them, I'll just like work with somebody else, or two, I'll just follow up on Monday. And if they don't respond on Saturday, then whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
that's what I was. That's a good point. I was like, just thinking about it now. Like, okay, this is a lead. This is not the only business fucking on earth. Like, if this doesn't go whatever, then like, who gives a shit, dude? There's other places I can go.
Yeah. This is something I've been thinking about a lot actually. People need to start thinking about cold email the way that people think of ads. So we think about cold email differently because you actually have a connection with the person. You feel like you're emailing them. You feel like you already like you have like a parasocial relationship in your head because you see their name, their email, their company on your sheet, and you're literally typing them up an email, proposing to like do business with them, like hoping that they say yes. And like that's a good way to go about it because it's more personal and like people really respond well to that, but it puts you in your head. And when we run ads, we don't think about that the same way at all. Like we don't think about like what is this person, this nameless, faceless person on Facebook gonna think when they see my ad? We don't care. Just put it out there and to like they're
Yeah,
just near to you, right? Where it's like I'm just gonna make it so that 1,000 people a day see this ad, and 20% of them are gonna click, 5% of them are gonna convert, and then those are gonna be my customers, and then I'll create a relationship with them after. But with cold email, we think about it as like, oh, I can't like mess up this message because it's like I'm going like with a friend. It's like, no, send emails whenever you want. You don't have to turn off the campaign. Follow up with them as many times as it takes for them to either say fuck off or unsubscribe. Because that's what happens with ads. Like you don't say like, oh, I've already served them 3 times with this ad. Like what if they get mad at me? Like what if they hate my ad? You don't like nobody says that. You just go like, oh, they haven't bought yet, so they're probably going to still see this ad. You just think about it the same way when you're following up. So when you're following up, if they haven't responded or like done anything positively towards like at least or like booked a call or whatever, that means that they just haven't heard a market like a message they've heard yet that's going to make them convert. Ads are the same thing where it's like you don't just keep hitting them with the same ad either. You like retarget something else. You can say, like you can either just go through different benefit points and like just keep trying to find a benefit point or an angle that works for them and like just keep ripping it, bro. But like, yeah, I think that's something that beginners really need to understand is like don't get in your head about cold emails just because it has the word email in it. Like you're not actually emailing them. Your company is sending an automated message that's just landing in their inbox. It's not an email from you to them. And I think like honestly the best thing the beginner can do to get themselves out of this is create a fake email address with a fake name so that no backlash ever comes to you. So like for example, I wish I did this when I started. Whereas like if I had an email that was like James at cardinalcopy.co, right? And then anytime James sends an email, he starts the relationship, and I'm the big boss that comes in and finishes the relationship and gets the sale done. And if James gets cursed out, who gives a fuck because James isn't real?
Dude, that's
Oh,
freaking brilliant. What the
Holy
fuck,
shit, dude.
This
We were
Andy
just
Dufresne
talking
over here,
we were
bro.
just talking about Andy Dufresne. We were just talking about fake IDs before this, and with the use of a fake ID.
For copywriting,
Mm-hmm.
of course. Just
Yeah,
in case you ever
of
get
course,
carded
yeah.
sending a cold email. Yeah.
No, I did this. I did want to ask, because I ran into this question, and I think it's in cashvertising. I don't remember if it's that or something else, but the people who are like too nice, the smart people who are too nice to try and use the naivety,
naivety?
the naivety of the dumber people, I guess. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They like
Yeah.
they feel like it's like rude to do that. Like, how do you get over that? Because you seem like a pretty nice guy.
I think I'm nice. I think I'm
Seemed
nice.
pretty cool to me, yeah.
Helped an old lady cross the street the other day.
Hey.
Hey.
We up, baby. We up.
Yeah, so the question is like, should you feel bad about quote unquote manipulating people that you deem to be dumber than you?
No, not should you, because like the normal like general reaction is they will. How do you get over that? How do you get
How do
over
you,
the feeling of like feeling like a piece of shit because you're kind of manipulating when really you're just creating an ad that's smarter using them against themselves?
I think that like I think that like the product should speak for itself. I'll give you a great example. So I got on a sales call. I didn't end up taking this client. I actually passed him off to another guy who's probably more likely to help him. But I was talking to this guy. His name's Michael, and he owns this. He used to be an accountant or a CPA, and I think he also used to work for the IRS. And then he left. I think he got a pretty nice bonus. So he spent like a year learning how to get out of back taxes, right? So back taxes, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically like you owe the government money and they're coming after you, and it's a big deal. Like it's scary. And he found a way to get around it. And in his head, because I talked to him, he's just like this like crazy fiery like Jewish dude from Florida, and he was so excited about this product because he knows how scary back taxes are, and he knows that like people will pay anything to get out of it, and he was actually giving him a break. Like a lot of people, he had yeah, so like a lot of people owe thousands of dollars, and I think the course of like how to get out of it or how to like handle it was only like 1,000, and he had a list. I'm gonna mute my stuff. Mute this. Mute for.
Oh, is that
So,
you? The Discord? I thought that was
I
me.
thought that was me, dude. Like, what the
or it
fuck?
might be you. I actually have no idea. No, you got headphones on, so it wouldn't be you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
so so this guy, he sort of changed my philosophy on sales, which is like the product is so good, you could charge $1,000 for this, and people would still say thank you, right? And so if you know that you have a thing that's gonna help someone, like you're so proud of your product, you know it's going to change their life, literally it's gonna save them. You would die before you let someone get off the phone because you're gonna get money and their problem's gonna get solved, a big problem, right? And so if you had a thing that sort of got people out of back taxes, you would do everything you can to make sure that every single person in the United States gets out of that, right? And so he had a list of like 250,000 people that like had that, and they were just gonna run cold email campaigns. I guarantee you, when that guy was running cold emails, he did not say like, "Yo, like, should I message this person on a Saturday?" Like, it doesn't matter because your product is so good that like, and it's so helpful and so necessary that you can message them whatever day you want. Like, you know that they need it, and you know that they're gonna buy from you because it's better. Like, they would rather part with $1,000 and give it to you than have to deal with the IRS breathing down their neck. And so obviously, like, freelance copywriting for info product or coaches or whatever probably isn't the same level of what like severity, but I think that if you take that mindset and you apply it to your business, number one, your product is going to be better, and two, you're going to be less antsy about sales because you're going to know, like, I can't possibly be annoying this person because I'm literally going to save their life. Like, it's like if someone was choking and you had to do, like, if you had to Heimlich them, like, would you, like, you know that they need you, and so like you're not going to feel like you're annoying them, like you're literally saving their life. So that's the mindset you got to take with it. That's what's really going to change it for you.
Yeah, I think like you just kind of have to view like sales specifically. Like you're a problem solver. Like Trevor and I, we had our first like cold calls a few days ago. We just kind of got a hair up our ass and just decided like, fuck this, dude. We're just gonna do it. And like we called this lady, or I called this lady, and I already kind of knew in my head what I was gonna say, what her objections could have been, you know. So like there is like an element to kind of like psychology. Like I don't want to call it manipulation. Like I'm not making her think anything. I'm just kind of guiding her along to get to where she's actually open to getting my solution to her problem. And I knew that the problem would help her, especially after she started telling me like how bad what she's currently doing is not working for her. And so it kind of helped me see like, okay, I'm not really so much of a salesman as I am just a guy who gets paid to solve people's problems or to connect people with the solution to their problem.
Right.
So I think it's a good feeling. Like a lot of these, like if your offer's a no-brainer and people like it actually helps people. Like it's not we're selling like a service that's going to hurt people. You know what I mean? I'm not scamming anyone, but we're connecting people with solutions to the problems. They just don't know that they have the problem or a way to find the solution yet. So,
Right.
I don't know, man. It's like a good feeling. Like I know there is some like psychology and it can get bad. Like I was reading the Copywriter's Handbook, and it was a Jordan Belfort book too. It was on the reading list, but I forget what it's called. Way of the Wolf, that's what it was. And he was saying how this is some powerful shit, man, and you got to use it to kind of help people. Like you can use it to really screw people out of their money, but all you're doing then is just kind of spreading misery, you know?
Yeah. And I think that like, yeah, there's very few things that you can feel like, oh, I'm actually manipulating this person. And it's not a matter of right or wrong or should I get over it or how do I get over it. Just don't manipulate people. Like people, like your product is not manipulative at all. Like if your product is copywriting, like you can't possibly manipulate. Like you're providing a service. You know what I mean? I think where people call me out, and I honestly think that this is kind of fair. Like, so people will say like, oh, this guy has a course, like fuck him, like especially on TikTok, and they,
Oh,
you know, and they'll
Really?
like, yeah,
oh,
bro, they're
bro! I
like, oh,
just watched one
course
on
in the book.
who's Thomas Gannett. I just watched one on him. That dude was tearing him up for no reason, like a whole YouTube video, tearing him up, saying he's a fraud.
Why? Because he has a course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually DM'd someone and I said like, yo, why is it a bad thing to have a course? Like genuinely, and he said, oh, like, well, some people they like only have like a minimum experience with this kind of stuff, and they like put it in a course, and like they just want to make money off that because they don't know how to make money off the other thing. But like your free stuff is good though. Like your TikTok is good. I'm like, well, if my TikTok is good, then don't you think my course, Cashflow Syndicate, would be like 100 times better, if not more? And like, do you think that a course on how to make money, you would actually get your money back? Like, you'll buy a course on cooking, you're not going to be ROI positive on that. You'll learn how to cook, but you're never going to see that money again. With this, you can literally spend 15 bucks a week for 3 weeks, spend 45 bucks, make $1,000. Like, that's a pretty good deal. So I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that like will say that just because they don't understand. It's a really weird thing. There's a lot to understand. It's not as simple as just like money in exchange for a good or product or service.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot
it's
to it.
weird. And the reason people are so like pissed at courses because they don't see it as like a legitimate thing. If I took the exact same shit and I said it was a book, who would read that fucking book? I mean, so it's like it's weird, bro. We have a lot of biases that come from like brokey mindset. Like I'm the same way. And like, dude, like my parents are the best. Like my dad in particular, he's a great dude, but like he comes from like a really shitty background. Like he was super poor and he made it. Like in terms of like hometown kind of guy, like he was like he came like his parents were like drug addicts. Like everyone in his family is a drug addict, or they're an alcoholic, or they live out of a fucking trailer or something like that. And he like he had a great job, and now he's about to retire in 5 years with a couple of M's in the bank, and like he's just over the moon, right? And he's just still got the same mindset because that's how he like protected himself of like, don't do this, that's a scam, don't buy this, that's a waste of money, da da da. Da. It's like that's all stuff that you have to leave behind if you're going to progress out of that. Like Alex Hormozy says this, and I think it's kind of corny, but I think there is truth to it. You can't do what 99% of people do if you want to be in the 1% or something like that. It was like I kind of butchered it, but that's kind of how it is. And it's like you got to make some serious fucking changes to the way that you think and the way that you act if you want to be where you want to be.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you saw the Kanye interview with Piers Morgan when he just called him like a broke boy on there. But
Yeah.
it's like the same
What's
shit.
your net worth, Piers?
Like, he's like how much how rich are you, Piers? It's like unfortunately I don't have as much as you. Okay, so why would I listen to you? Like it wouldn't
That
make.
was painful.
Why would I listen to you? It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you listen to me? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of like that. Like you don't take advice from someone in the 99% if you want to be in the 1%.
Yeah.
No,
I
my
think
parents definitely grew up with like not a lot of money, but I always thought like, okay, if someone's selling something, it's a scam. Like I don't even know why. It's weird.
No, my parents raised me on nothing is free. Like there's a catch to something. Everything there's a catch to it.
mhm.
What's the catch?
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, okay, if this dude's selling me a copywriting course, what's the catch? Like, okay, I got to pay money and then like I got to pay more money or some shit, or like it's not going to
Yeah.
work or something.
Yeah, you just got to be able to like pull the trigger is really what it is. You got to be like, all right, well, it's $35 or $45. I either lose it or I don't. You know, like I lose it or I get it back. And if I lose it, it's $45. I would have bought fucking what 10 monsters for that. Shout out to Joey B.
That's what I first thought when I joined Cashflow Syndicate, dude. Yeah, $10 for some monster. No, it was. I remember it was like $9 a month when I first got on there. Like crazy money looking back at it. Like just the value you got for that money, like $9, bro. Like forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah, dude. It's like. I'm sorry. I just totally forgot where I was going with this show. My bad, dude.
The way we think about
No,
spending money.
Do what?
Just the way we think about spending money, like the
Oh
value.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I'm okay. I'm spending $9, man, and I'm like getting so much value. It's just such a no-brainer. And it's like you want to just you really just want to tell it to everyone. It's like, yeah, like you
yeah,
got to pay to play for a lot of these things, dude.
I think that's a big part of the psychology thing too, like feeling bad about like convincing someone to buy your product because if it's such a no-brainer, it just like like if you have an offer that's such a no-brainer, it feels almost bad. You're like, why would you guys not be doing this already? Why I
Right.
don't you know like it just feels bad for me to come to you with this, and feel like I'm on top.
Mhm.
I think that just fucks with your mentality overall.
Yeah, and that's just like I don't know. I think like there's pros and cons to changing the way you think because like I've talked about this. Like I feel super out of touch these days, like really out of touch,
Oh
and
my god.
and I have to. And I've been on calls with D and with other people saying like I have to literally hypnotize myself to figure out like what it feels like. And this was only a couple years ago. This is not even that far off. It like I felt like my mind changed quick. I have to hypnotize myself to feel what it feels like to spend $15 a week on something. And I think like $15 to me now is like I would spend that on anything, like literally anything. But like $15 like for a community back then is like I'd have to probably really mull it over and I'd have to have a lot of proof to make sure that I know it's gonna work for me. And so like once like it's an empathy thing. And so like yeah, on one hand, like you feel free because like you feel you don't feel $15 coming out of your bank account. Like even for you guys now, like $50 is like whatever. Because that's what, like, and but then it puts you out of touch with the regular consumer who makes like 30 grand a year, and like they're trying to like solve a problem for themselves. Like, is $15 a week worth it to them? So yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a weird mindset.
Yeah, I wouldn't even notice I was paying if I didn't get the fucking email receipts. It's the only reason I know.
Yeah, bro.
I just
Yeah.
paid for the year one, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Nice, dude.
Yeah,
That's
Congrats.
a good value,
no,
bro.
because I mean, I thought about it, and I don't know who it was. I think it was David. He was just saying like, if you leave, just know like you're pretty much quitting. Like you're doing yourself a disservice. And it's not even like, at some point, I'm sure I could read your modules and your videos and watch them like 10 times over and just keep learning and learning. But at this point, it's just like I could go into Cashflow Syndicate at any point in my day on my phone or whatever and just go into the W's or the Y or job opportunity and just talk to people that are trying to grind. Like
Yeah.
it,
Hey, bro, that's the thing. Like, this is why we made it a community. Like, we wanted to make it a community because, like, I'm kind of from like boomer land in terms of like actually making money online. Like, I started before there were all these resources. Like, there wasn't even really much on YouTube. Like, the only YouTube copywriter that I can remember was Alex Catoni. There was nothing else. It was like some Indian dude with like 15 views on a video, like trying to explain it. And now, like, there's so much stuff, and so like I think it's important that you have a community when you're starting this stuff out because like it's really shitty when you don't have like people that are kind of on the same wave as you. Like I remember like last year, 2021, I was like doing well with business, but like, dude, I was like so like I don't even want to say depressed because I wasn't like sad. I just felt like hopeless because I had like no people that were like doing what I was doing, and like the friends that I had that weren't doing what I was doing, I didn't want to hang out with them anymore. I was like, you guys don't even give a fuck about this. Like, what are we gonna talk about? All I want to talk about is fucking business right now.
yeah.
All I did. It was all I did because I had to manage a crazy workload, and I was working like 8 to 12 hours a day most days, like sometimes on the weekends too. And it was just a nightmare, bro. And so I was like, when me and D built this, I was like, this is what we need because we need people who are like brand new in business to like make connections with cool people, and like they need to know that it's actually they're not alone, right? Because that really sucks. And so like that was like the main design of it because like I want people to be in this community for years, and then like they join today, and then October 31st, 2025, they're still in Cashflow Syndicate, and they're like, yo, like I literally did like 100K in sales today, or 1 million in sales today, or I'm gonna sell my company for like 30 M's. Like I remember when I joined this Casual Syndicate, and I had all these friends, and like we're all doing big shit now. Like people say, like people are commenting on my TikToks right now because I just did a thing where it's like networking with like people who are doing stuff that we're doing, right? And they're like, but it's unfair because like I don't even know how to find these people. Like I don't know where they are. Da, da, da. And it's like you already know where to find them. You know, people are just lazy. Like just
I
join.
think, yeah, that's what I like about Cashflow Syndicate. Like, it's something that like it takes a certain intelligence to be able to like find it and then to like actually join and participate in it. So like everyone there, I know at least thinks a little bit like me.
Mhm.
You know, like it's not like anyone's just waltzing in here, you know, with nothing that they got going for them. Like
Yeah.
the people in there have some sort of business mindset, you know, and that's really what I like. I just like if I didn't have Cashflow Syndicate, I'd be like, where would I ask this fucking question about cold emails, bro? Like, who
Yeah,
the hell?
bro. It
Like,
was
who
the
hell?
other day you texted me asking you were like Googling it or something. I was like, bro, that's a
I don't
Cashflow
remember.
Syndicate
Yeah,
question. I was like, you
I
about to just
probably was.
yeah, you just hop on Cashflow and type in the question and it'll be answered within 3 minutes from 4 different people all grinding right now, probably on the same fucking problem.
Yeah, for real, bro. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about it is like it's actually starting to manage itself now. Like for months, like D and I were in there, we had to answer every single question. And
Yeah.
now, so you can kind of just post up in the chat and like someone will answer it. It's pretty
Yeah, like
cool.
if I can answer someone in the chat, I will. That's how it is. Like if I post up and there's a question in there, I'll be like, fuck it, I'm here. I may as well just try and answer it. But you did mention the feeling of loneliness. That's actually why we created the podcast. Because after the Army, I got scammed kind of. I got medically discharged from the Army. I tried to do 20 years. And, they boinked my ass, said, hey, you actually have scoliosis, so you can't be in. And then, so yeah, I met all my buddies from age 19 to now 24. And I'm getting kicked out, moving back home to nobody but my family. So I was alone. And finally, I was like, Kevin, this is it. You know who Sobra is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sent me a Sobra, and I was like, all right, listen to the Sobra, and then we just started a podcast because that sense of feeling alone fucking sucks. Like there ain't nothing worse than that. But
oh man, I mean, for you, that's probably like, I can't I can't even imagine that. So they just kicked you.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a year process. So, yeah, I was Trevor's boss, right? So he would come asking me about what was going on. Like basically, right? Well, you got told that you were getting kicked out.
It was basically like so in March of 2021, they were like, hey, you can't be in anymore. And then for the next 8 months, it was like, hey, you might be in, you might not be. We don't fucking know. But for now, just hang out until we know. So for 8 months, I was just chilling. And then on the 9th month, they told me finally, hey, you're out. So it was all just like up in the air. Yeah.
Fucked. And so you come back home and you're just like.
I was just alone, bro. So actually, I came back home. And came back home. Before the Army, I was a nice, good little kid. Didn't drink, didn't smoke. And then when I got out of the Army, I started smoking because I became an alcoholic in the Army. I got out of the Army, started
tricking the book.
Got out of the Army, started smoking, and my mom didn't like it. So she was like, look, you got to quit smoking or get out. So I ended up having to get out. And, started being way too alone. I was like, I either have to fucking leave this place or I didn't even know what to do. Somehow I'm still here, basically. Fucking
kicking and bitching.
Yeah,
bro.
That's why we created this, is try to get a community going. Just that sense of fucking community. Just know you're not alone. People have done what you have. You're not the first person to do what you're doing. You're not the first person to fail. You're not the first person to succeed. You're not the first person to know what the fuck's going on. Like it's just join a community and get involved.
Yeah, I think that's huge, bro. I think that's so important. Like, dude, like yours is probably worse than mine, but I was a little bit spoiled. And so like, yeah, I just remember like, I think the number one thing that I just kept thinking, this was like months, bro. This was like just months that I would just be like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, I just lost my girl too. Because like she also didn't get it. It kind of like took over my life, business did. And I was just thinking like, is this it? Like, do I literally just like wake up, write copy, go for a drive, get some food, go to bed forever? Like when is this gonna change? And like you realize also too, like it doesn't just fall in your lap. Like I actually like I tweeted about this a little bit last year, but like I used to manage an artist because I wanted to like get into a circle. Like I was kind of like I was thinking like, okay, like who do I want to chill with? Okay, I want to chill with people that are like ambitious and like kind of fun. Like I wanted to go and party. I just wanted to feel something. And so I just like I found there was this artist that I was like kind of working with as a guitar player. And I had all this business knowledge. I was like, well, why don't I just like move towards like managing him, and then like I can just like kick it with this guy all the time. And then so he ended up introducing me to like all of his boys and like all these people, like literally like fucking 50 people. So I went from having like no friends, like having like a handful of like cool people like in a couple months. And then you just build like your social circle out from that. But like there's so many people that like don't like they can't be bothered to like make that change, and so they're just like they just resign themselves to like being alone. And when like you realize like that's one of the worst things you can do for yourself. Like there were literally like days at a time, like 3 or 4 days, especially if I didn't have like calls or anything with clients, that I wouldn't say any words. Like I wouldn't have a reason to talk. And so I would like start my week on Monday and then open my mouth and say words for the first time on Thursday. Like I wasn't talking to anyone. And so like also like when I would start hanging with people, like I'd be like literally autistic. Cause like I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Like I was like I had nothing else in my life other than business. And so like that was all I could think about.
Do you think
And
that was like bad? You keep talking about you had like that's all you talked about and everything, and like you're sitting here now, you're pretty well off in the business world, so couldn't have been too horrible. But like at the time where you're like, fuck me, like all I got going right now is business. I don't even have any friends.
yeah, I
You know
think
what I'm
like
saying?
I know what you mean. Like, there's nothing wrong with like going through periods of your life where you're like really into something, and maybe it's just the way that I'm personally wired, but I need balance. And so like right now, my life is like the most fun it's ever been, and I'm thinking
Same.
about business probably the least. Like I think about business like I'll have like random epiphanies, but it's very rare that like my brain doesn't shut off at like 5 p.m.
Oh, bro.
You know what I mean? And I'm fine with
Yeah, I
that.
swear to God,
To start, to start, you need to be on it 24/7, or else it's not gonna.
Well,
Else it's not
no,
gonna.
that's what we were trying to say in cash flow is like me and Kevin both have an income from the army, so we're not like in dire need to get something going, you know. So like that's I guess that's kind of where we're going. Like at 5 o'clock, we're both just like, dude,
I
fucking
just run out of energy at fucking
yeah.
5 o'clock, bro. I'll start working at fucking 6 a.m. Like 5 o'clock, dude. Oh my God, I'm useless, bro.
That's
Dunzo.
fine, bro. 11 hours a day is good.
Yeah,
11 hours
yeah.
a day is more than I do when I started. But like it would be like I would work for like 3 or 4 hours a day, and then I would just like sit and fantasize about it for like the rest of the time. And
Yeah.
so
I
like that was where I was at. But now my brain goes like, I'm just trying to. This is another thing from the My First Million guys, which like if you guys aren't listening to that, I highly recommend you do because it's really really good about like business philosophy and just like kind of relating to people who make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, we'll link that down below.
They're
yo
both worth
yo.
like 8 mils or not. Sorry, eight not 8 figures. I mean, um, and Sean, the guy who sold his company to Twitch, talks about like I don't think about like all I think about is like how can I design like my perfect day? Like if I design my perfect day, it does not involve me working 12 hours a day. It's probably working 6 hours a day and then hanging out with my family and hanging out with my friends and having a dope meal and having a sick workout and sleeping in a really nice bed and having a sick sleep and doing that over and over and over again. Like that's a perfect day.
Yeah.
And so like when I think about my perfect day, I'm not working 12 hours. I'm working 6, going out to Moxie's, grabbing a couple drinks, hanging out with the boys, going to the beach. We did this yesterday. We went to the beach, like chopped open some coconuts with a machete, drank some coconut water, had some whatever the fuck this stuff is inside. Tastes terrible, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have ever had like a real coconut, but it's fucking disgusting.
like you're
Like,
fucking
Gross.
Survivor, man.
yeah, like Luke, you guys know Luke Alexander, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Luke was like, Luke loves it, like genuinely. And then our other boy Sanjay was like pretending it was good, I think. And I was like, dude, like this is not good. Like it's like you think it's gonna be sweet, but it's actually salty and it kind of tastes like dirt a little bit.
Ugh.
But like, anyway,
It's the
yeah,
IPA of the fruit world.
yes, exactly.
The IPA, bro.
People just act like they like them.
That was
Yeah,
you, dude. When I first showed up to Army, I was 19, so I wasn't drinking, but Kevin was, and Kevin was big on the IPA game. He'd bring in like these gross, like
They
gross
were
IPA.
terrible.
Like I
They
could
were
sniff the fucking hops from it, like
yeah.
just I could taste it from there. And this dude fake liked them for like a year. Finally, when I was able to drink, he's like, dude, I don't fucking drink those. Hell no.
I thought it made me sophisticated, and I'm like, this is terrible. It's not even worth it. I don't give a fuck what they think about me. I'm not drinking this lemon pledge no more. This is terrible.
Ugh.
No, I do want to ask though, real quick, if you can tell us what does like the future of cash flow look like?
Oh, like, dude, like we want to have like 50,000 members. Like my sort of thing with this, like, and I've talked about this a little bit. Like my like passion in life is not like email marketing. You know?
No,
Come
No.
on.
What?
Come on.
I don't like I do it because I'm good at it, but like it doesn't get me going. Like I don't think like I've never once thought like we're gonna be the biggest and best email agency in the world. Like that's not my goal. However, I know the kind of transformation that I went through going from working in a restaurant and like thinking that I have no life prospects to like having some idea of what I wanted to do and then actually doing it and then making a bunch of money and having a really good life after that. Like that to me is like if I could rewatch that story of myself just going through that because it literally felt like a movie when I look back in my head, and it probably does for a lot of people. And there are like compared to how many people there are in the world, especially people that really fucking hate their lives, so few people that know that this is an option. I want Cashless Syndicate to be the thing that teaches people like this is actually possible. Here are thousands of other people that are doing the exact same thing. They're right here in this thing. You can message them at any time. We have dudes that are making $50 a month online. We have dudes that are making 5 grand. We have dudes that are making 50,000. We have dudes that are making 1 million a month. You know what I mean? Like here's everyone who's in Cashflow Syndicate. You can talk to them. You know, some of the dudes that are higher up, like you might not be able to reach them, but like there's always someone to like kind of give you pointers or to like tell you that you shouldn't give up because like you're probably right around the corner, or to tell you that you shouldn't be afraid of sales, or to tell you that like you know you can just do that. Like I want people to feel like they can sort of come up in this environment and feel comfortable doing it, and they're not going to feel like completely confused, because I think Cashless Syndicate is a pretty good product for that. Like I think like the course content that we have in there like is everything that you're going to need to know to just start something, because that's the number one question people have is like how do I start. This is how you start. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
It's so easy. You can do it on $100. If you have less than that, you can find a way to make it work. You could probably start something on $20. If you have $20 to invest, you can start a service-based business, and you can be making at least $1,000 a month within a month or two. And that's really crazy to some people, and it may sound like impossible, but I want everyone to know that it is possible, because if there's anyone that didn't believe it, if there's anyone who's skeptical, it was me, and I made it work. And I want everyone to know that. I think like there's a lot of like communities like that, but I don't think that they're as real as D&I are, and I don't think that they have cultivated the type of community or audience that D&I have. Like we have some really really fucking cool people in there like you guys that are actually doing shit, and you're not just like NPC bots that are like dumb. Like you guys really do enforce the culture. Like if you go to any other thing, like it looks like they're all just dick suckers. Like they're all just in there like GM guys, how's it going? Everybody like there will be dudes in Cash Syndicate that are like, yo, shut that like gay shit up. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Don't
be
tell me
normal.
good morning, goddamn. What the fuck?
Yeah, like don't
Bro.
be weird. Like,
This morning sucks. I'm still
so,
broke.
Yeah.
yeah, so like I don't know. I see that becoming like a big thing.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
no, I mean actions speak louder than words, and for anyone who doesn't know, I have not talked to Mason more than one time other than this, and I think I could pull it up right now. It's like a Discord of me asking for a job. Like you had a job opportunity in your link. So you and David, me and Kevin have not talked to either one of you, and you both hopped on right away for the podcast. So if that don't speak for itself, I don't know what does.
Oh dude, yeah. I'm always down to chat.
Yeah.
Like this is fun too.
Yeah. Fuck, I had a question. Oh yeah. The people that think like there's not like more businesses out there that think, especially now with YouTube blowing up with all the SMA agencies like Build Your Own, all the people trying to sell it, they're thinking like, all right, too many people have caught on. Like there's plenty of businesses out there, and just I listened to Thomas Gannett with David for like I watched the whole podcast, but it was something in like 30 seconds. He just explained why he chose the clients he chose to go after. And sure enough, me and Kevin just listened to him for 30 seconds, and the first 3 people we called all answered the phone, and it was the owner on the phone. like,
Hell yeah.
like, you just got to know who to call, when to call, why to call. So how do you, like, what other, like, untapped business you think people can or how do you critically think of who to call next, I guess?
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So here's how I answer that question, because I don't even think that you have to pivot to an untapped industry, because like even if you do the thing that in our world is the most saturated, right, which I believe to be email marketing for e-commerce. Everyone's doing it. Every month there are like hundreds of big agencies that do millions a year that sign 10 new e-commerce brands every single month. Hundreds of them. They're always around. And so like all you have to do is for over the course of 6 months, steal one of those and make it your client. Like every other agency in the world is signing 2 to 50 clients a month, people that you want to work with. You only need 3 or 4. Like let's say you're charging super low ticket, like 3 grand a month. You have 4 of those, you're making 12 grand a month. Like that's a salary that most people will never see. It doesn't take much to be making money. And there are like, you know, so that's one thing. The second thing is most people are fucking lazy. And so if you see a video on SMMA and it has like 100,000 views, which is pretty common, I would guess that maybe 500 of those people are even going to try, and then 50 are actually going to make it work. And then 5 are actually going to become millionaires with that. Like people are so lazy, bro. People say this all the time. Like your videos, you brought copyright. First of all, I don't even believe this, but they say like, yo, you're making copywriting like saturated. Like it's like too mainstream now because like you're on TikTok and like, because like some of the videos that I have talking about copywriting are fucking pretty big, like a couple million views, which is cool. But it also makes people think like, oh, millions of people have heard of this, so like there's no room for me anymore. No,
Yeah.
dude. Like, out of a million, 10 are gonna try it. You know what I mean? So there's that, and there's like so many fucking businesses in the world that need your help. Like if it's copywriting, for
Yeah.
example,
That. Yeah.
every business, like just in the U.S. alone, there are 30 million businesses, and that's like 2020 numbers. So I'm sure it's probably doubled since then because so many people started businesses during COVID, and like there's just stuff that pops up every year, and it just becomes easier and easier to start something. So I would bet there's probably like 60 million, and that's just in the U.S. In Canada, there's probably like another 5. In Australia, there's probably another 5. UK, there's probably 10. Throughout Europe, like English speaking countries, probably another 30. Like you can literally like you will never ever ever run out of people to talk to. Like you could literally 10x the number of copywriters that exist in the world, and there's still going to be like 10% of businesses that like don't even know where to find a copywriter, can't even get their hands on one because everyone's too busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
That's what
you have to
kind of lit up
do
my
that.
mind as I got back to Florida and I started driving, and it's just like there's a McDonald's here, there's another business right next to it, and then there's a plaza right next to it full of 10 mom and pop shops. And then right next to it down the street is another plaza full of 10 more mom and pop shops. And like someone's got to be running these. I guarantee you they're not smarter. If if they are smarter than me, it can't be by too much. Why can I not be in a business owner, business running like mentality mindset? Why could I not be in their shoes? And that's what got
Mhm.
me out of like, all right, I'm not getting a boss really ever again. Like I'm sick of the boss.
Is
Like I
that a
can't.
strawberry watermelon fume bar?
What's that?
That vape, is that a strawberry watermelon fume?
Hey, raspberry. Just got it today, bro.
Raspberry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a vape connoisseur.
A connoisseur.
Yeah,
I
I know
like
my
these joints right here, bro. Shout out to Owen, bro. Not
those like
sponsored.
Zins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're fucking stronger though. These are like 8. I think Zin's only go up to 6.
Ooh, dude, I had a Zin. I didn't realize you weren't supposed to swallow your spit.
Oh, really? Oh, oops.
Yeah. Or no, wait. Do you?
I do, yeah.
No,
No.
bro, it like destroys your throat. I
No,
know
it
what you're talking
don't,
about.
bro. Didn't know tobacco ever hurt no one, dude.
Destroyed my stomach, bro. Like I packed a lip and like I immediately got a head rush and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then like I just like I was like swallowing and like my stomach just started to feel like awful. I was like, oh no, like it was just like on fire. And I was like, that's bad. So I
Oh,
just
dude.
never had a Zin again. It was terrible.
You wouldn't like the European ones, bro. Like in the States, it's hard to find one that's 12 milligrams even. I know in Europe they got them like 30 or 40, dude. Like
Oh
crazy strong these things.
yeah. No, I
You're
don't
doing
do
these
any of
things.
that stuff. I don't even vape when I'm in Europe. I just buy pack cigarettes. Same in
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah.
Like, dude,
I ain't
European
been to
cigarettes
Europe that often.
the risk
Yeah,
of
every
that.
time I'm in Europe, dude.
I'm,
Totally.
I'm normally in Ramstein.
Yeah, on a
Fuck.
fucking C-17.
This shit's garbage. No, Mason, I do want to talk a little bit because when I was growing up, it was a thing that I heard a lot. Not too much, but I heard a decent amount. Business partners are bad. Don't try to go to business with another partner. They'll screw you over. Don't ever try to split your business. But I mean, you and David run cash flow pretty well. How do you feel about business partners and just like collabing with people?
I don't think there's anything wrong so that's an interesting thing you say because I remember like that was one thing that I heard a lot when I was a kid. Like if there were because I only knew a few people that like ran their own businesses, and if I did, they were like it was like a contracting thing, right? It was like they do construction or something. Those are the people that own their own
Yeah.
businesses, and they'd have a partner that screwed them over for like 50 grand or 100 grand or something like that. I think like I got lucky. Like D is very fucking smart. there's a couple of things like you have to know that the person you're working with isn't going to screw you over. Like that's kind of like a gut feeling thing. Like you can't even really teach that. Um, yeah, like it's just a character thing. I think the one thing that people mess up is they get too excited to just be in business with someone else, and they like will work with their friend or something like that. And like a lot of times, like your boys, like your hometown boys, are terrible business partners because number one, they probably don't know anything about business, even if you think they do, and you may be misaligned in terms of motivation. Like I think like D and I actually had like a business partner relationship before we were like friends. Like we became friends after, just because we spent so much time together. Like we were business partners first. Like we chose each other based on the skills that we had, not because we were just like close. Um, so I think that's part of it too. Like you have to pick people based on like who they are and what they can do instead of like how much you fuck with them. Obviously, it's important to fuck with them, um, but like that's rare. Like I know a lot of people that fucking like do not like their business partners, but they're doing like 20 million a year and like they're very profitable and there's like nothing technically wrong with the relationship. They just don't jive together. I don't know, but I think like if you can start a business solo, do it. Like keep your margin. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of lucked out on that. Like we were friends first, obviously, but then like once we started doing like more business shit, you could see a lot more of like, okay, what I'm bad at, Trevor's really good at. Like Trevor is like he's mad confrontational.
I already know what you're
with
about to
people.
say.
He's
Oh,
mad
yeah.
confrontational with people. I'm just not that kind of guy, dude. I kind of get along with everyone. So like
So
sometimes situations require that, you know? And
okay.
like it's fucking too dope to be like, all right, Trevor, you can knock that out, and like I'll do the sales call with the fucking dickhead. Like that's fine, dude.
How do you guys split up your roles? Like what do you do?
Just kind of roll with it,
No,
man.
no,
You guys
yeah,
both
it's like you guys said, like don't split up, like don't find a niche yet. It's just more like the skill sets we both have. We both know the skill set of each other and kind of work off that.
Okay,
I
do you
mean,
guys
but right now though, we both kind of do the same thing. Like we're both in like we both make similar emails, you know. Like we're both working with the same client. Like a lot of our shit is almost identical. It's just that little shit like, okay, I got to do a sales call, and I know the person's like gonna be this way. Okay, then like I'll just be like, okay, yeah, dude, I'll do that. Or if it's gonna be a certain way, it's like Trevor, yeah, you should probably handle that, man. I'd be more up your alley. So we just kind of like one off it, I guess.
so you both do sales calls and you both do fulfillment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so I think that works now, but I'm curious to see kind of what happens once you guys start to scale. Because
What?
what should happen is business partners don't brute force things together. One person does sales, one person does fulfillment, especially with an agency. I tried to explain this on an Internet Kids episode. And they didn't really understand what I was saying.
No, I see
Um,
what you're saying, but the
but-
only reason we're not doing that is because we don't have clients yet. Once we get
right.
clients,
Oh,
I could
all right. So
definitely
there we
see
go. That makes sense.
just Kevin doing sales and then just me on the back fucking grinding away.
Yeah, because you'd be chilling.
Yeah.
Like if you had no clients, like yeah, Kev be working his ass off. And then,
Yeah, I
Oh,
like,
know.
I'd be
Yeah.
running that game, dude.
you got
Absolutely.
any clients today, Kev? And you're like, you're just sitting there getting. I mean, it doesn't really
Fuck.
matter if you both like aren't really getting
Like
paid.
in the pursuit of happiness, like a phone fucking like taped to my head or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think like as you guys start to scale, you'll realize the importance. Because like, bro, me and D did the same shit when we started too, and we realized after like once we started to grow, we were like, okay, now we have to divide roles. So like with an agency, for example, one person grows the business and one person ensures that the product never fucks up. So like with the software company, it's the same thing. Like CEO, CTO. CEO grows the business. They pound the pavement trying to get customers, and the CTO is in charge of the product because your product is everything when you're just a brand new company. And so like that's how tech companies operate, that's how agencies operate. The way that we operated was kind of different because it's like we were both kind of the face of it. We were both doing everything on Twitter. And then me and D were always kind of close. Like he would have more followers than me one day on Twitter, and then I would kind of grow past him. We'd kind of grow like this. And then I went like this, and D like kind of stagnated a little bit, and then I started TikTok, and then I like basically fucking blew up on TikTok, and so we were like, okay, what makes the most sense? D is product, I am acquisition. I'm gonna get customers for us. I'm gonna find people that actually want to join the community, and you are going to make sure that everything is good inside. And so like it's kind of like a hunter gatherer kind of relationship. Um,
Hey, it's
where it's
worked since the dawn of men, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, legit. And so like same, yeah. the structure with Chase and I is a little bit different. Which like I'm curious to see kind of how that rolls out because we're both marketers. Like we're both really good marketers, but I am the product and he also handles like legal shit. So it's like I don't know, it's kind of weird the way that like that works with him and I because we haven't really found our roles yet. But again, I think that kind of like comes as you mature a little bit. Like if you both just start and you're like, all right, let's just fucking bang this out. Like you're both in the dirt, right? But I think like at some point it makes sense for like Kev, you handle sales. And then Trevor, like you make sure like the fucking copy is sick.
Yeah, we
You guys are gonna grow way better. Like that's another thing too. Like 2 + 2 does not equal 4, or 1 + 1 does not equal 2, right? So like you can grow to 50K a month by yourself. That must mean that together you can grow to 100K a month and you each make 50. So it's the same as being by yourself. It's not like because you guys have two people, it's actually exponential. So like you'll each make double what you would by yourself because you guys are partners and because you guys are like handling it the right way.
I do like though how we're kind of like we're both good at like different things though. Like if we were both just copywriters and like no like we couldn't make a sales call, you know. So we'll probably end up doing it. I am excited to see though, just because like I'm naturally better at talking to people, and Trevor is naturally good at just doing it on the computer, you know. So
Hey,
I think we're gonna,
leave me in a room with a computer, bro. See what happens.
yeah, bro.
That computer's gonna come out 9 months later pregnant.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
y'all wait.
bun in the oven, bro.
You put a floppy disk in that bitch.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. But no, you said exponential growth, man. That was one of the main reasons I just wanted to start something. Is just because once you start this, you're gonna run into a million different problems, but you're gonna have to solve them. Like there's me and Kevin have already solved a million stupid little problems, and we haven't even fucking started making money off of it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the exponential growth you get from even like a YouTube channel. The best thing you can do is just start a fucking YouTube channel. A year from now, that YouTube channel, there's someone's gonna be watching it, or you could go back and look on it and be like, "This is what I've learned in a year." It's just so beneficial for the exponential growth and putting two people with it. Shoot.
Yeah. The cool thing about copywriting too is like it actually like there's not that many problems. Like I remember like I don't know what you guys have been through so far, but I remember like copywriting just being like the easiest type of business to run. Because like the work is either good or it's not. The client's either happy or they're not. You either get it done on time or you don't. Like it's pretty within your control. The weird shit starts to happen when you start hiring people, and then you have the element of like other humans that are like on your payroll that starts to get weird. And that's when like real problems come up. And like, dude, I think about like it changes your perspective where like big companies like Amazon, like what are the problems that they have to deal with? Like what kind of stress is the Amazon CEO under as we speak? What the fuck is that dude dealing with? And then you even extend it even further to like governments. It's like what kind of problems did they have to solve? And that's not even just like world hunger or any of that macro stuff. It's literally just like you get a phone call from somebody. What do you need to do? Like making decisions and stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's kind of mind blowing to think about like the scale of problems that you have to solve as you get paid more and as you become more important in the world. So like honestly, like count your lucky stars right now that like I don't know, the problems are like this email deliverability, like it's not going through, like this email's not sending or like whatever, this client got pissed or this prospect, whatever. Like, I don't know, at some point it gets real and then you're just like, yeah, you'll be the copywriting is a great fucking first business for that reason. And I think like if you guys do it right, like you guys can each make 100 grand a month from this. And it'll be fairly low stake. It'll be fairly easy to do, I think. It'll take a couple years, but like yeah, that's 100% within the cards.
What
Well,
makes
good.
you?
I'll fucking do it. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Fucking sign me up. Like,
I'll be here anyway.
what makes you so confident in that? Because every YouTuber is fucking walking around saying the same thing. Why do you like you said it so confident?
YouTubers saying what?
You can make 100K a month.
I don't know. I think you just kind of see a path, right? Where it's like you're just certain that you know like what it takes to get there. Like think about it. Like what do you need to do to get to 100K a month? Like you need to, and let's just use like numbers of like a company instead of like you each making 100K a month. Like, let's just think about it. Like, you have to sign uh 25 clients at 4K a month and just focus on the deliverables. And as long as the deliverables are good, you just got to get 25 people in the world to pay you 4 grand a month, which is like a low level employee that doesn't generate revenue. You would be considered a revenue generating employee technically as a contractor or as an agency. So they would get that money back. All you have to do is like you have to figure out, okay, how many writers do we have? And do this early. Like, don't get greedy and like try and make as much money as possible and just get really busy because you want to be able to have some headroom so that you have time to train people, which that's where I fucked up. Before I scaled as high as I did, I should have trained people when I had time to train people. Because by the time I was too busy, I literally didn't have time to bring anyone on, so I just never did. So you could probably do this with like 4 or 5 writers. Um, and like, yeah, just make your product really good and just send as many emails as it takes to get people to sign with you. And you'll get, 100K a month in no time. Like it's really simple. Like it's a simple process. It's not really like SaaS. Like SaaS for some reason just turns me off, even though the multiples are crazy and you can make big, big, big money with a really good tech company like a unicorn. It's not it's not simple. Like you need to find out where your customers are. Like if you're a Grammarly, like you gotta find out where your product market fit is after. Like you gotta spend millions of dollars just to find that out. You already know who your product market fit is. Like people with businesses that need fucking copywriting, that have $4,000 in the bank every month that they don't know what to do with, so they're gonna pay you, right? Like that's very simple. You know who your customer is. These people don't. So like it's a straight line. Like, it's literally just like how many emails does it take to send one client? Send 25x that every single month, and just sign on as many clients as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's one of the things me and Kevin say. Like, there's bound to be someone to fucking reply. I mean, at some point in time, someone's gonna answer the phone and say yes, and then we're gonna get a client, and then it's just gonna keep happening. It's as long as we keep doing it, it's just gonna keep happening. So just keep
Yeah.
going.
And also, like, keep iterating your pitch too. Like, make sure that like
Oh
how many
yeah,
emails are you sending out?
we quit doing emails because we did it for like a week, and we're like, fuck that, we'll just call
Well, we were also manually doing them too.
them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
what
like,
we fucked up.
if you guys have 2 people and you guys are not afraid of scaling, like automate that shit. Like, I know I talk about like manual emails, and I will always still prefer to do manual emails because I have a fragile ego and I want to make sure. Like, same thing. Like, I want to know my prospects, and I don't even really send emails. When I do, like it's like a good fucking cold email, and I usually like try and go for like the one shot close right there. Like I don't want to send an email and not get a response. Like fuck that. Like they have to be pretty warm already. They have to like kind of know who I am, or I have to have a reason for reaching out. But like bro, like if you guys are just trying to grow, if you're just trying to get like a fuck ton of clients, like just run it. Like plug your shit into like um instantly AI and just run it. Like dude, there are guys that like even instantly can't support how many emails they want to send. So they buy like an AWS server and they use Amazon and they send out like fucking a million emails a month, like
Jesus
with
Christ.
so many different domains. Like it's crazy. I know dudes that are using fucking Gmail domains to send emails to people, like numbered Gmail. So like you would literally say like something like user 1251219 at gmail.com, and they'd have like literally 10,000 of those. They just have like bots sign up for Gmail, and they
Ripping
would
it.
just rip like no domain, just raw Gmail accounts. So like there are ways to do it, bro. Turn up the dial. Calls will not be as quick. Like calls will be different. It's a different style of selling. Um, but like emails is like that's way more scalable because you don't need people. Like you'll just automate it.
Shit, hell. Well, Kev, you got anything else?
No, man, I'm just super thankful, Mason. You took the time to come on, man. Definitely dropped a lot of keys on us, so
Yeah, man.
Dude,
learned a lot though.
this is fun. When are you guys dropping this?
When or where?
When?
Uh, Actually, I'll probably start editing it today or tomorrow. I'll probably drop it. Yeah,
I
definitely.
gotta fucking have someone make the thumbnail too.
Yeah, probably definitely by the end of the week
Oh,
for
cool.
sure. Yeah.
It's almost 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, man. One of the longest actually.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
feel
man.
like it, bro.
Fucking thank you a lot again. Actions speak louder, and like I said, you and David both hopped on here, more than willing to. Both of you were a little late. I will point that out. But hey, but we got it done. Again, yeah, I appreciate it, and look forward to see what we got in the future, man.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. But peace.
Peace.